All right, what's up, Tycoons? Super excited for today's video. We're going to be taking a look at ticker symbol SKLZ, and this one was a viewer request for an update, so that's why I'm doing that. So keep in mind, if you want to see your stock in the next video, make sure to comment below, okay? We're going to go ahead and dive into the technical analysis and look at the chart and the key price levels and patterns that I'm looking at, but we're going to do that in the second half of the video, okay? We're going to do something a little bit different today. All right. And I just want to stress in this bear market, there are great opportunities. Okay. Bear markets are life-changing opportunities to create wealth. And if you invest properly and invest in the right companies, then, you could have a potential for some life-changing wealth, right? If you invest. Okay. Um, Now, one way that people make a lot of money doing this, okay, is a term called value investing. All right. Warren Buffett is most famous for his value investing, method. All right. What they do is they look for the intrinsic value, right, and try to look for companies that are undervalued. And then they invest in those companies. As you can see, it works well when you choose correctly. And if you choose poorly, it can hurt you. You could lose all of your money, right? So one of the ways to really do this, all right, is to look up the intrinsic value, right? So we're on alphaspread.com right now. And they're, giving us some stats here on Skillz, okay? So a little bit of some fundamental analysis in this video, not just technical analysis. All right. So we can look here and see the intrinsic value, okay, is currently 3.26 USD at the base case scenario, leaving it currently undervalued by about 60%. All right. So, using that type of methodology for intrinsic value and looking for value opportunities in the stock market, this one currently is undervalued, but I'm not shilling it to you guys. I'm not pumping it to you guys and trying to tell everyone to put all of their money in Skillz. Okay. There's some things you need to be cautious of, and we're going to go over that as well and cover those. All right. And if you don't know what intrinsic value is, you can dive in a little bit more, but that's kind of just like another way of saying value, right? That's how they look for the value. We can look at their profitability score. Okay, they have a 39 profitability score. It's not too good, right? This market does not respect companies that are not doing well in the profit area, and profitless companies are going to get crushed, obliterated. Okay, that's why the stock is down 90%, over 90% year to date, and even much lower from its all-time highs. Okay. We look at the solvency score. It's got a 45. Okay. Here are some Wall Street price targets over the next 12 months. Okay. So on the low end, they have $1.57. All right. So that's a 21% upside. So, if you do some of your own research, maybe you can calculate some similar numbers, right? Maybe a low end, an average, and a high end, right? And you want to look where does your plan for this is, these analysts are projecting this over the next 12 months. Where are you trying to get the value for Skillz, right? Are you trying to buy now for a 3-year hold, right? A 5-year hold, a 10-year hold? All of these are important, questions to ask yourself. All right. So we can see that their average forecast, though, has it at 336. That's a 160% upside. That's a lot of money. And the highest forecast has it at $5.25. Okay, so that's actually pretty bullish on the analyst estimates. All right, there from Wall Street. We're going to take a look at a bearish article. Okay, so this is a bearish article here. Skillz, a financial disaster, they say. And they go into it and, they talk about how it's down 96% from its all-time high last year. And they kind of just, give some of the bearish case scenarios in here. All right. One of the major things reasons, in my opinion, why this stock has been beaten down so much is because it's part of, Cathie Wood's ARK fund. And, they made an inverse ARK fund, S-ARK, for shorting the ARK. And it's up beautifully. Okay. That thing has definitely outperformed the market tremendously, just shorting, the ARK funds. Right. So, I think that has a lot to do with it, but it is also one of the most heavily shorted stocks. All right. And we can look in here and they talk about some of the headwinds being, the competition. Okay. They do have some big competitors. Okay. TTWO, Zynga, which, was just acquired by TTTO. We have SE, Activision, and we have EA. Okay. Now, in my opinion, they're a mobile gaming company. They're not looking to replace Call of Duty, right? And create the next Call of Duty franchise. They're not looking to create the next Madden franchise either, you know? That's just my opinion. So, you know, to try to compare them, you know, those are two powerhouses that it's going to be really hard for any company in the industry to, you know, recreate the success of, you know, the Madden franchise and the Call of Duty franchises. All right. So, you know, you got to keep that in mind. All right, it goes into the financials, and you know there's some ugly things in the financials. Okay, you know one of them being is that over here the expenses are increasing way faster than revenue. Okay, total costs and expenses for the quarter increased 76%. All right, from 135 million to 238 million, or 160% of its total revenue. So you know when you look at it, you're looking at your revenue and your expenses, you get your profits, and the expenses heavily outweigh their revenue. All right, so you know it's a profitless company. It's not looking good in that area. And you know again, that's why you're seeing such pain in this stock, right? This is not a market that's going to respect profitless companies, so you have to keep that in mind. And you know, as I said, do some research, see if this is something you want to invest in during the bloodbath, during the pain, when there's blood in the streets. Okay, that's when people like Warren Buffett and you know these hedge fund billionaires, that's when they go shopping and they start to eat. Okay, but you know they do have some nice partnerships, okay, with the NFL and the UFC. And you know they're spending a lot of money on sales and marketing and research and development. All right, that's basically the summary of this. um, you can look, they say that it's kind of hard to value Skillz using most metrics as it has no positive income, EBITDA, and cash flow. The only way to value it is using the PS, price to sales ratio, and it has a very nice price to sales ratio actually of 1.75. It says here, you know, it's quite cheap by historical standard, especially when compared to some of its competitors that have a price to sales ratio of 4.15, 7.32, and 5.72. All right. um, but those companies are profitable, and Skillz is burning through cash and struggling to generate any income, as this article puts it. All right, so those are just two articles. Well, this one is a little bit more bullish, okay? And the data on this one, they have these Wall Street price targets up above, right? So why would Wall Street have price targets to the upside and then also be putting out bearish articles on this, right? These are questions that you have to ask yourself anytime you're reading one of these articles, right? Because you have to think, well, who wrote this and why do they want me to read this, right? Who owns the media? Who owns the articles that you read, the videos that you watch? Just the global media is controlled and owned by these hedge funds and institutions, right? So for them to accumulate in a bear market, right, they need liquidity, they need sellers, right? They can't just buy from anyone. So if they put out enough bearish articles, right, then they can scoop it up and purchase the stock when it has that nice undervalue and nice upwards intrinsic value, right? So I think that that's a lot is what's going on, not just in Skillz, but across the stock market, in general. Is, you have a lot of long-term people, looking to scoop up stuff to hold for 10 years from now, 20 years from now. People like Warren Buffett coming in and buying certain stocks that are undervalued, right? So that's mainly the main emphasis of this video, is that we are in a bear market, and it's really important to not be scared and to truly invest and research some more into companies that you think are going to be successful and around over the next 5 to 10 years. Because if you invest now, 10 years later, it's typically been a very great return on your investments if you've chosen wisely. Okay, picking single stocks is very hard. It is a lot easier and much safer, and much better method to just go with some index funds, but that's not why we're watching this video, right? We want to talk about Skillz. We want to talk about individual stocks. All right, so we're looking back at the chart now. We're looking at our daily chart. All right, and I've highlighted multiple times in my Skillz videos the bullish divergence and how that is a great area for you to swing trade, day trade, get into some opportunities for a quick bullish pop. All right, and that's when you create lower lows as indicated by these ovals here on the stock price, and then you actually create higher lows on the relative strength index. So what that means is the price is dropping, but the relative strength is increasing. All right, these are areas where you'll see a nice little pop and a nice move on the stock. Okay, so those are the areas, and anytime that you see that setup, that bullish divergence setup, those are areas that I'm going to be looking for. for a possible entry, okay, to swing trade. All right, and we have this bullish divergence trend line right here as well. Okay, so you can look to see if we come down and bounce, find support along this trend line and get another bullish rally. All right, so that's the daily chart, a little bit more of a macro. We'll go down to the 4-hour chart, okay, because there's 3 stages to a reversal for a stock. Okay, there's your downtrend, there's your uptrend, and then there's your box consolidation phase. All right, so in my opinion, that's kind of what it looks like we're getting right here on Skillz. Okay, we have our very big downtrend. Okay, and now we're in a little bit of some box consolidation. All right, if you guys can see that, we went down, we're just consolidating in this area right here. We may bounce up and down in between $1 and $2 until we get a breakout either to the upside, and that potentially could be a sign of a reversal to the upside. All right, or we get a break down to the downside. All right, so that's what I'm looking at here on the 4-hour chart, seeing that we have the first 2 stages of a reversal. All right, we're working on the second stage right here. We have the downtrend, box consolidation, and again, looking to see if we can break out past $2 and start the reversal back to the upside. Okay, so if you want to set an alert at $2, or if you want to try to intraday play the box consolidation, as it probably will bounce in between here, right, until we get a little bit more clear market sentiment, whether the market truly wants to go bullish and think they found a bottom, or if the bottom is not here yet and this thing continues to drop. All right, we'll go into the 1-hour chart now, okay, and look at some 1-hour price target trading levels. All right, these are going to be the main support and resistance levels that I'm currently watching on Skillz. All right, it's going to be 123, 128, 131, 135, 141, 148, and below 123 we have 1.2 and 1.15. All right, it kind of seems like we're getting that same thing we're looking at on the 4-hour chart. Okay, here's our big downtrend. Okay, here's our downtrend. Here's our box consolidation, right? We're consolidating between $1.23 and $1.28, bouncing on these levels in between. Okay, and we're starting to break out past the 128 and possibly get a nice reversal, okay, back to the upside. All right, we can look here and we had the same thing. Okay, you have your uptrend. Okay, then we have the nice box consolidation right here. We consolidate sideways for a period, all right, until we break below, and then we have the reversal there. Okay, so uptrend, box consolidation, reversal. All right, now we have downtrend, box consolidation, possible reversal to the upside. All right, so these are going to be the key levels to look for an entry or an exit, in my opinion. And the short term, if you're looking to scalp, swing trade, day trade, anything like that on Skillz. All right, now one thing I do want to go over, and I think that is one of the best strategies for this bear market, okay, is actually going to be, selling options. Okay, so if we pull up the, options tab and we go to SKLZ, all right, what you can do is, let's say you want to buy 100 shares of Skillz, right? It's going to cost you about $130 right now. Okay. Well, what you can do, right? Let's say you don't want to purchase it at, $1.29. You really want to purchase it at $1. You love that sound. If it comes to $1 even, you want to load up as many shares as you can, right? Well, you can actually generate a little bit of money. So let's put it this way. Let's say you have $10,000 you want to invest in Skillz, right? And you don't want to buy at these price levels, but you want to generate some income on the side, right? What you can do is you can come in here, and for every 100 shares you want to purchase, you can sell a put option contract, right? So you can come here and you can look, and let's say you want to buy 1,000 shares at the one strike, so that would be $1,000. You can come in here and sell 10 of these contracts, okay, and be credited $90. All right, now why do I think that that's important, and why do I think that's a good strategy? Is because if you can get $90, can use those $90 to either purchase like some more shares, or you can just keep collecting credit. And if it never goes below 1, then you won't be forced to buy those shares. But if it drops below 1, then that's when your contract will become valid, and you'll be needed to essentially go ahead and buy those shares. All right, so that's something that I would look at, is coming in here and just selling cash secured puts against Skillz, until it hits your strike and, you are forced to buy them. right? Because that way, you can make a little bit of money on the, in the meantime, and wait until it comes down to hit your price levels. And if it doesn't, if it never falls below 1, then you just got to keep that money for free, right? And you just generated some income. So, you had, $1,000 and you were able to get $90, that's almost like a 1% return, and you didn't have to buy anything or do anything. All right. So, that's kind of the main strategy that I'm looking at for Skillz is, just to sell some cash secured puts on it. I think that that's a great thing to do in a bear market. You get to decide what price you want to buy it at, what price you're comfortable at owning it. And you just have to make sure you're comfortable owning that, because if you don't, let's say it falls down to 50 cents and you sold the one strike, you're still going to be forced to purchase it at $1 versus 50 cents. So that is the, only risk to selling cash secured puts. But, when you think of it as like getting paid to own, the stock at a certain price, at the price that you want, then it's a really good trade-off.